Good afternoon, everybody. I'll just give everybody a minute to hop on here. Hello, Irene. How are you doing today? Make sure I have all my stuff. I feel like I ran up and down the stairs 20 times. While we give everybody a minute, I'm just going to die cut this happy fall. Hello, Rhonda. How are you doing? Cut this now while everybody's popping on. How's everybody's day today? It's very cloudy and smoky here. Today, and the last couple days have been amazing, so it's kind of weird to see it all dark, but it's quite warm. Hello, Ellie. Hello, Julie. How are you doing? I'm glad you're doing well, Irene. Hello, Tamara. And welcome to Rhonda and Cheryl and anybody else who's popped in that I am not seeing your name. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. Oh, that was in. There we go. If you guys didn't see it, there is a coupon code up on the Scrap Shotz Instagram and Facebook page. So the coupon code is Pink Fresh, and that coupon will save you 25% off all of the in-stock Pink Fresh, and that goes from right now until tomorrow, Friday at midnight Mountain Time, Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight, I guess it is. So if there's any Pink Fresh stuff you've had your eye on, they always have gorgeous, gorgeous things. You can check those out in the store. All right. We had such a great time at the Scrapaganza. It was amazing. And was anybody here at that? Hello, Victoria. I know Victoria was there. Hello, Sheila. Yeah, I feel like I still haven't quite recovered. It was a very busy weekend last weekend, but awesome. And did a little live showing you all the vendors that we had in. The crop was so awesome, and it was really great to see everybody. Yeah. Next time, Irene. Oh, I'm glad that you liked it, Victoria. You shopped and that was fun. Yes. Shopping is always fun. So we are going to make a little fall pumpkin card today with some Kraftin Kimmie stuff. Now this stuff might not be showing in the store, but if there's anything you want, you can just email Sandy, or you can comment on it and I'll get her to check and pull those for you. We haven't got all the inventory quite done from being at the show last weekend. And you were up there too, Victoria. And hello, Gail. So if you don't see these in the shop, because I'm not sure if they've gotten into there, you can comment and Sandy will hold them for you, whatever she has in stock. So kind of first come, first serve. This is the card that I did at the Scrapaganza for the Make and Take. And I was going to redo this, but I know Sandy only has one left. So this poinsettia stencil is a 2-piece layering stencil. It was gorgeous. So I think she does have one left. If anybody does want to grab that up, then you can do that. What we did when we were there was we used glimmer paste. So the Nouveau Glimmer Paste, and this was the turquoise topaz. Yeah, you got it, Victoria. It's beautiful. And then we used the Glitterati Gold, so for the second layer. And we used a Spellbinder's dye and some shimmer powder. And it was pretty basic, but it really has a beautiful look to it. The Vicky Boutin print shop is in the shop. And are you asking, did I personally buy it? I didn't buy that one, although it's gorgeous, but the shop does have it in there. I still, you know what, I'll probably, I do have my eye on it, so I should probably go order some stuff. Hello, Scrap Shotz. Yeah, all the print shop is in the store, and so if you search for print shop, you can have a look and see what's all there. So this is the one we made for Make and Take, which was really fun. And I thought I'd do something with this pumpkin layering stencil because I know we still have a couple of these in. Oh, and Irene, you're going to, your print shop is going to be on the way, it sounds like. That's exciting. So I thought we'd do a fall card. And if you do have the poinsettia stencil, if you happen to get it at the show, then you can certainly do this technique as well. Or if you get the pumpkin stencil, then you can certainly do 2 layers of the glitter paste. So you can definitely mix and match these techniques. So these stamps are ones that we have. Now let's see here. I didn't bring this stencil up with me, but it's called the Fractals stencil. So frozen fractals stencil, and I was just playing around with this. So we have a few of these, 2 or 3 of these in the shop. And again, if you want to comment on it, then Sandy will hold what's there. You're listening to CNN. Yeah, probably the storm, hey? Hopefully all those people are getting out okay. So what I did with this background, and I thought maybe we'll do a make and take with this in a couple weeks, but regardless, I'll probably make something and post it. So that's the Kraftin Kimmie Frozen Fractals stencil, and I used Altenew ink in the background, and then over top you can see that shimmer, and I used the Sizzix Pearlescent Medium. Oh, just missed your condo. Wow, that's close, hey Victoria? Yikes. So that's a look at that stencil. Then of course we're going to be using the pumpkin patch stencil today, which is the 2-layer stencil. And we're going to be doing some foiling, but I also had been playing around with this and just thought I'm going to quickly show you. This is this stencil with ink. Then this one has some ink and some embossing glaze on there. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, the print shop, beautiful. Like Vicky really does an amazing job. This is lunar paste and glitter paste and mica spray, that the Halloween, one of the Halloween mica sprays from Tim. And let's see, and this one is the mica sprays on watercolor, and then just playing around with some embossing powders. Hey Rosie, and some more mica sprays, and there is a look at the glitter paste. So the same idea, you can just use it on a different stencil. So lots of different options for that. Now here are the stencils that, or the stamps that we got in for the show. So I'm gonna close this blind. The sun finally decides to peek out. Okay. This one is Little Monsters. This is very cute. If you like Halloween, let me find out. Isn't that cute? So lots of really cute images. And for this one here, here's a sample of what I did with the Lawn Fawn platform. So it pops up, the platform pop-up and the add-on. And so I colored in the little images, I watercolored them in, I stenciled that pumpkin stencil in the background, and they are just adorable. Love these images. So you can imagine putting these on little treat bags, giving little cards out for Halloween. Let's see here. This one is the perfect, let's find it. And I have another sample here. I'm just, oh, there it is. So this one here is the perfect Halloween. So we have this one as well. And again, if you don't see them in the shop, you can just comment or email Sandy. And here's these little kittens, and they are ready for Halloween. You have all these little accessory stamps. So there's the broom and the cauldron and the little pumpkins, and then all these sentiments that you can add. So it's very cute. Then we have Bewitched. So there's the wizards and the witch, and you can use these for lots more than just Halloween as well. Any kind of magical or Harry Potter theme would look really cute. I love using stars on anything, so I always try to remember which stamp sets have little stars on them. So this is a project that I put this little witch on. And then I've got this one with the little bats on there and the pumpkin stencil in the back. And I like coloring bats several different ways, but I think the purple looks really cute. So here's one, another one with that pumpkin stencil that we're doing today. And I'm going to actually show you how to make a little embellishment using your stencil when you have an image. So that's another one. Thanks, Irene. Here we have Santa's Village, which is very, very cute with the little reindeer, and then you've got the elves and the Santa, and you've got the Candy Village, lots of little accessories, the little house for the sleighs. Hello, Helene. So here is one with this little elf and this little candy village that I decorated with some Nuvo and some snow. And then that Frozen Fractals stencil I did in more like a stained glass look. And there you can see those little accessory stamps. And let's see, then we have, this is the Perfect Poinsettia stencil. Sorry, stamp. No, it's not perfect. Pretty poinsettia stamp. And I really love that you can mix and match the flowers and the greenery. And then look at these beautiful sentiments that you can add. They're so pretty. So with this one, I did the background with inked the stencil, and then I cut out the flowers from the stamp set and the leaves and kind of tucked them in around. And I added some Nuvo drops. And I love this card. Like, I could totally see sending this out as my Christmas card this year. And the last one is Cozy Kids, Cozy Christmas Kids, and they are so cute. So here's a look at the card that I made with these guys, again with the accessories, the little presents, the candy cane, the cup. Like, you can use these so many different ways. The little cat, you don't have to put them all on a card. I couldn't decide what to use, so I decided to use most of it. Oh, thanks, Irene. And again, that frozen fractal stencil in the background. So I'm really happy with this, with that card. But that just gives you a look at some of these are all new release things from Kraftin Kimmie. And we still have lots of Kraftin Kimmie in the shop too. So if you're interested in adding that to your order, just search for Kraftin Kimmie and you'll find the stamps and stencils that we have in there. Just gonna put these away here and then we'll look at our card. So the card today is Decofoil, and then we're going to use a die cut and do some embossing and make this little embellishment. So let's kind of move this out of the way now. Now that I am looking, I don't know what is going on today, but I feel like I am forgetting everything. Okay, this is what I was worried about. And I brought it, so it's good. Gold shattered glass. This is what we're using, but you could use whatever color you wanted. And if you liked that color scheme with the turquoise and the yellow, then you could always substitute the green lunar paste for the yellow, and then you could use more of like a turquoise foil. But I already decided on the green, so I thought I would go with the gold pumpkins. I think pink would be really cute as well. You love Kraftin Kimmie? Oh, good, Kathy. I'm glad that I gave you lots of ideas. All right, let's see where we will start. Let's start with our background piece of cardstock. So this is what we'll do our stenciling on. And the way that we're going to use the lunar paste, Kraftin Kimmie pumpkin stamp, and that's called, Sandy, that's called Autumn Pumpkins. Oh yeah, I have it right here on my desk. Autumn Pumpkin. So Sandy will put that aside for you. So when you get your stencil, it's in two pieces and you want to line it up so that you know where the top is on both sides. So I took a little bit of nail polish, but you could take a marker, you know, anything that's permanent, Sharpie, and just mark the top. And that way it makes it easier and you're not trying to figure out which way your stencil goes. Then you know when you have the two tops lined up together, then you know that your stems and your leaves are going to match up with your pumpkins. So we're going to do the leaves first. And the way we're going to do that is by sponging this on. And when we sponge it on, it doesn't take long to dry at all. And then we can move right into our Decofoil. So when I'm sponging, I'll either dip my sponge in, or if you feel like you need a little bit extra room to grab something, just you can stick in your palette knife or your spatula and just grab some out, put it on your mat. And that is definitely more than enough. You probably don't even need that much. I like to add a little bit of water. Hello, Lori. And then I just stamp my sponge into it. And I've got lots on my sponge, but it's not a big glob. So you can use it like a texture paste and you can run it over your stencil. But I just find that you still get a really great color. And I'm actually going to I'm putting this here. But I'm going to put this up into the corner. So you get a really good coverage just by doing this. So you're almost doing the same thing as if you were doing some ink blending, but you're using the lunar paste and you're getting a really nice shine on there. And we're just covering where those leaves and stencils. So there's so many really great ways to use stencils, of course. And I like that with the layered ones, we can use a couple different ways. We could ink this too, but I really like the shine that you get with that lunar paste. So when you feel like it's covered enough, you're just going to take that off. And we're gonna just give this a little wipe. It cleans up really well, really easily. And you can throw your stencil in some water if you wanted, or you can just wipe it with baby wipe. And I'm actually gonna just wipe this off. These stencil mats are fabulous as well. So these are the waffle flower stencil mats. And I think we still have some of the large ones left, which are bigger than this and give you a little extra room. And I'll just give this a little wipe because I don't like doing my cleaning all at the end. And I don't mind if anything's stained. I just don't want, you know, to have chunks or lumps on my stencil, so that it's still going to work nicely the next time I use it. And sometimes with stencils that you have little areas and pieces, you just want to make sure that you're careful when you go over those so that they don't bend. But again, if you were doing a bunch and just had a bin of soapy water, you could just throw this in the soapy water and then just lightly wipe it afterwards. Okay, so our next layer, we know this is going to be on top. Just going to check comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. The make and take at the crop, yeah, the poinsettia one, that's beautiful, isn't it? And do we still have one of those poinsettia stencils left, Sandy? All right, so if you're not exactly sure, this is pretty easy to line up because I know this was the top and this is the top, so I can pretty much just match it up. If you're not sure, another trick is to take your other stencil, so the stencil you already did, hold that on the top, so you know that they layer like this. And then if you can line that top one up, when you move that out of the way, then you know that that's in the right spot. And the stencil mat just kind of gives you a little bit of a grip just to hold it in place. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. Now for our duo gel, we haven't used this for a while. There's still one. So if anybody hadn't got that poinsettia stencil and you want it, you can comment and Sandy will hold that for you. So this is the duo gel, which I love. And with the duo gel, this allows you to add foiling to your project and apply it either with a laminator or with pressure from your die cut machine. So it's nice to have another option and to have something that works so nicely with stencils. So right now I'm just putting it over the background. If you have a stencil that has some bigger spaces, like these pumpkins, and if you want to make sure that the foil covers wherever your bigger spaces are, you want to make sure that you're not digging out, you want to make sure you've got enough of that duo gel in there. So I'm spreading it on and trying to make sure all the spots are covered. And really, I mean, if you don't have everything covered, it's fine. Just if you want a little extra coverage, you just want to make sure those are covered, but you don't want to leave extra on there. So that's why I like using this stencil pal, just to then go over the top lightly. I'm not pressing hard. And I can see that there's a little spot there that I want to add a little bit more to. So this dries kind of sticky. It's opaque when you put it on. So I'm just running it over so that I'm getting any excess off and it's not going above the stencil. And then you're just going to pull that off. So you do want to make sure that you get this cleaned off your stencil and any of your palette knives and that kind of thing, because it will stick on there. But as long as you're, don't leave it for too long, you're fine. And it's fine to get it off with a wipe. You don't need to go crazy. And if you find that there's a lot sticking on there and you just soak it for a while, you will get that extra off. So you don't have to be crazy about it. So see here where we applied that stencil. I actually really like the white look, but it will dry translucent. So it will dry clear, and you're going to know that it is done drying and ready for the foil once you completely let it dry and it's completely clear, and you can touch it and it's not going to move around. It might still be a little sticky, and that's fine. You can then, if I was doing a bunch of these, I would just set them aside and do them in a couple hours, or even set them overnight. You can speed it along with a heat gun. Let it dry probably at least an hour. So if I was going to use this right away, I have one that's pre-done, but I would probably give it a little bit of heat with the heat gun, set it aside for an hour, and then maybe just a little bit more with the heat gun just to make sure it's fully dry. But you can see that lunar paste dried almost immediately. So we're going to set this over there. And I'm just going to give my stencil a wipe so I don't have a bunch of sticky stuff to get off of it later. You guys find that you clean as you go, or do you kind of leave everything and then clean it at the end? And that's pretty much all you need to do to get that clean. So that was pretty easy. All right, so we actually have one that's completely dry. And you can see that, but it's completely translucent. So you can just see the outline of it there. We are going to cut our foil. So this one is the gold shattered glass that we're using, but there's lots of different colors and they are all very beautiful. Let's move this mat out of the way, and prefer using a craft knife. I just don't have it right here in front of me, so I'm just going to use my scissors. Clean depending on how fast Vicky goes. Yes, she sometimes goes very fast, but her projects are so amazing. Are you taking any of her print shop classes, Irene? Or are you just playing with your product and kind of doing what you want? Vicki Boutin does have such amazing inspiration. So all I'm doing to put this back in is rolling it up, and I can feel that I got a little bit of stickiness on my mat. So I'm gonna probably wipe that off. And then we can just pop that right back in. Yeah, every Friday night, Vicki Boutin goes live. So if you like her stuff, be sure to check that out. Plus we have the Christmas stuff still in the shop. That's amazing. I think I'm going to be doing a Christmas album. So all we're doing is putting this, I would say matte. It's not completely matte, but the unshiny. This is the shiny side that you want, the color. And this is the side that's going to go up. And the other side is going to go down. And we're going to use, I've got my Spellbinders machine. So this is the universal plates. They've come out with a bit longer plates and they've divided them up a little bit so you can use them with all the different sizes of embossing folders that there are. Okay, so what I'm doing, because I'm not cutting, I'm just making sure it's going between two flat surfaces rather than having my cut edge on top, which might leave some cut marks in my foil. I'm just putting it between two flat surfaces, and you're going to use the same plates that you would if you were die cutting. So I'm just going to run that right through. And I'll just run it through and then run it back again. Off to the side, and here's the reveal, which is always amazing. Irene bought the print shop kit from, yeah, you bought the kit as well, and it will be worth it. And her projects are just so amazing. But I love that you bought more of it because you probably realize that you will want more. All right, look at this. Look how beautiful. So I did this foiling, or the Decofoil gel, I did last night before bed. And then knew it was completely ready, but you don't have to leave it that long. But I love, and that shattered foil look has that really fun effect. So if you're doing foiling, you don't need to throw away any of your foil. You can either use this by just gluing this directly on your project if you wanted to do a background. Thanks, Kathy. Or if you have the black toner sheets and a laminator, you can put this on, run it through your laminator, and the rest of the foil will transfer. So that would be a really cool effect as well. And then you'll get a 2-in-1. So we've got our background here. We can grab our card. And we'll just fold this card. So Thanksgiving is coming up. I like to make Thanksgiving cards. Do you guys make Thanksgiving cards? Or Halloween or fall? We're going to just glue this background. This is just some black cardstock. It's a little bit textured. And then we'll glue our foiled piece down. And if I have something that I don't want to rub really hard over the front, I just turn it over and then I can rub on the back and stick it down. Okay, now we're going to do our happy. So we've got the Happy Fall die cut. Yes, she does use the rest of her kit, or most of the kit. And I love that she gives you lots of techniques to try, so you probably have fun trying all those extra techniques. So I die cut a white and a black from Happy Fall, but I'm going to cut off the fall. So all we need to do, and you could use this happy for anything like birthday. You can kind of see I'm just following where the letters would be and trimming them off. You could also do this with the fall part if you wanted just the fall. And if it's easier to turn it over, you can kind of turn it over. So we're going to add a little bit of inking on our background on our letters. So I've got the Altenew inks. These ones are from, I'm really liking these 4-packs. Pink Fresh as well has inks, and don't forget about that coupon. That would be a really great time to get some inks. So Pink Fresh is the coupon code, and it's 25% off for any in-stock items. So these Altenew is Summer Afternoon. That's the orange and yellow. And then this one is Green Meadows, in case you're looking for these. So I'm also going to use this one. Actually, I think I'll use the lightest and then the third. And let's grab some brushes. These are those mini Tailored Expressions brushes. I think we also have some of the little mini Altenew brushes. Sometimes those little small ones are so great to use. So we're ink blending this. I had cut it out of a couple different colors, and I felt like I just wasn't getting the right feel or the right colors. So I do like using ink sometimes just to get that color that's exactly what I want. Plus we're going to use these same colors to ink the pumpkin, and then we've got just a really nicely coordinated project. So I'm doing half with the yellow. And this is the Tonic non-stick matte. It's the large one, and I think Sandy has some of these in the store too, and they are very nice. They're quite, I think they're 17 by 24, I think. We use them for our make and takes at Scrapaganza, and they're so nice to work on. So this is the Caramel Toffee. This one is Warm Sunshine. And the more you layer these inks, the darker they will go. They are dye ink. And then after you wait a few minutes, you're going to see them really soften, and if you've blended them, you can see that blend really nicely. See what I just did? I don't want to go do that. So I'm going to wipe off my brush. And at the end, after I've ink blended, I'll just take it on a wipe or a cloth and just kind of wipe it. I don't really worry too much about cleaning my brushes. Hello, Carol and Sandra, how are you doing? So I'm just going all over everything with that yellow, and we'll leave that. That is pretty much done. So we've got our happy. We're going to offset that. And I'm using the Art Glitter Glue. So that's going to be offset just to create a little shadow there. Okay, while we have all these inks out, we'll just make our little pumpkin embellishment. So if you have any stencils that have an image, you can use these with those to create little embellishments. So let's pick which pumpkin. We'll do this pumpkin here. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with the yellow and then blend the orange, but I'll do the yellow over the whole thing. And it's just one little thing, so I'm not worried about really it moving or having to stick it down too well. And when you're blending, it helps to either come in from off the side, or if you're doing like this and just doing one central image, I just almost tap it on the plastic first, just so that I don't have a splotch of ink and it's more of a softer blend. So you can see that gives us that really nice, it is the best glue ever, Julie, you're right. And then we know this is the top, and this was this pumpkin here, so that's what we'll use. I did a live on Tuesday for Creative Scrapbooker magazine, and after I did the live, I'm sure I saved it right. It was gone, it was deleted, so I'm really hoping that everything, I don't know what happened, if it's just Facebook or what. So I'm kind of nervous that it was a glitch or something, but maybe it'll just reappear at some point. So this one here, the lighter one, is Minty Mint, and then this one is just green. And I still have to post it, but we're having a World Card Making Day fun in the paper crafting group, the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group. So we're going to have some challenges and prizes. So there's our little pumpkin. Hello, Joanne. So be sure to check that out on Saturday. Saturday is World Card Making Day. So you'll have to pop in, make some projects. We usually have a week where you get time to enter your projects. So I think there's 4 or 5 different challenges that are going to happen. All right, so we know that this is our little embellishment, and all we're going to do is fussy cut around it. And just leave a little bit of white space. It's almost like we're creating a little sticker. If you had some sticker paper, I wanted to do this kind of thing in a planner, that would be really cute. And when you're fussy cutting, just take your time, enjoy the process, and move your paper, not the scissors. And if you're having trouble, it may be that you need a nice small pair of scissors. These are the Cutter Bee scissors. I also have a nice little pair of the Olfa scissors, and there's an older pair that I have that's American Crafts, and they're nice too. But a little pair like this are really easy to work with, and you have to make sure they're sharp. Now, I did have a little, oh, here's what I wanted to show you. So I made this before. The mat is called, oh, this one. Sandy, are you still on? She might just not have it loaded in the shop, but if you want one, you can either just mention it here that you want it, or you can email her, or if you want to find out more details. And Sandy, do you still have it's the tonic non-stick mat, and I can't remember what the price of it is. So here's a little embellishment that I made similar to this. And this one, I added a little bit of brown around the edge because I wanted more of a grungier look. I drew a little face on there. And we're going to have this as more of a cleaner little pumpkin. You need a large one, Nancy? Yeah, you'll love it. So I'm going to take my brown. This is Stay Sarasa marker. And I'm going to add a few dots. You could do this with green. On the sample I did with green, but so similar to how you've probably seen me add some white gel pen highlights. I'm just adding some darker gel pen highlights. If you have some white, you could do white as well. And the only other thing we need, so this mat is heat resistant as well. So you can use your heat gun on it. You can wipe up any spills. If you use alcohol inks directly on it, it will stain it, but it will still work. So we are going to put use the fall y'all from the pumpkin stamp. So that's the autumn pumpkins. And we've got our happy, so we're going to use this sentiment. I am trying out this Tailored Expressions. It's the, what's it called here? The powder tool. And I'm really liking it. So it's got this foamy edge. You've got the powder inside. So if you unscrew that, you can see, and this powder, I mean, there's enough here that's going to last you forever. But I think you can get refills for it. So it simply screws on there. Then to get out the powder, you just tap it like this. And I tapped it, you know, a bit to start it. Now there's lots in the top of it. I really like that it goes on so smoothly. And then the cover just pops on. So to get the cover off, you want to remember just to pull it off, not to screw it off because you don't want it to unscrew from that bottom. And we are going to use a little bit of embossing powder. So this is my Versamark, which looks like it's seen better days. I don't even know what's happened to this, but I think I've had it for years. So, you know, it might be time for a new one, but it still does work. So the powder just helps the embossing powder to only stick to where you put that Versamark, which is a sticky ink. Now I have a piece of paper somewhere. And I'm just going to pour my embossing powder on. This is the Wow Opaque Bright White. I think we also had the Ranger. Those are both fine white embossing powders and both really good. But I think that's a really good staple to have in your craft room. And then we'll just heat it. So as soon as your embossing powder changes color, so this turns shiny, that's when you'll know that it's done. And if you heat your embossing powder too much, then it kind of just melts into the paper. And I don't think you have to stress about heating it too much. I just think that once it turns shiny, you're fine. So I found this little die. I think it's actually a Studio Cadia die. And it fits perfectly. And then I'm going to use this Best Ever yellow craft tape, which I'm really liking. And I find it lasts a long time. So if I'm die cutting a large amount of things, or if I'm just using it on my die cutter, I can use it, 10 times through my die cut machine before I have to replace it. And usually what I'll do, if I'm just doing one thing, then I'll just peel it off my paper and stick it on the top of my machine, and it's right there for when I want to use it next time. So we've got our little fall y'all. And I'm going to grab my foam. These little foam strips I absolutely love. They're the Scrapbook Adhesives 3D foam strips, and they're the same height as the squares. So I'm going to put the strips on here, and it just makes it really easy so that you don't have a lot of cutting and trimming to do, because I forgot my non-stick. Oh, maybe I have them. I hate cutting foam tape without non-stick. I do have it, because then you're stuck cleaning it off your scissors. And it sticks really nicely, so you don't have to cover everything. But I find for shakers too, it's really nice to have. And just makes things a little bit easier, and it goes a long way. So we'll trim that, and I just heard my AirPod die. So I'm going to go grab my other one. And hopefully it connected again. I think you never thought to use in those way. Yeah, shakers, and yeah, any kind of thin strips, or if you have a thin strip of something that you're putting across your card, works great. Plus, I really like that the backing comes off nice and easy. So I think I need to make some cards for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm going to be hosting Thanksgiving and have some family over, which will be nice. Okay, so that's going to go on there. And then we'll stick our little, I think I want my banner to sit kind of like that. So I might even just trim off this little end so I can get that close to there. And you can see how nice and bright white that white embossing powder is. And we really didn't have any other powder that got stuck to the paper, which was nice. And then we can add our customized little pumpkin embellishment. So it's the same color as that happy, and it matches so nicely. So if we had wanted to make this into a Halloween card, then we could do the same thing, find Halloween. I don't know if one of these, let's see. Yeah, like this here, you could just use the Halloween and you could put that on something like that, masking off the happy, and have Happy Halloween, and then have a little jack-o'-lantern there. That would be cute as well. So that is it. That's our little happy fall card. Again, if there's any of those products that you don't see in the shop, you can just tag Scrap Shotz after, or send her an email at sandy@scrapshotz.com and request her to hold any of that stuff for you. And don't forget about the sale, the 25% off Pink Fresh, using the code PINKFRESH. And that sale is going to go just until midnight on Friday night. That's Mountain Time. And join us on Saturday for World Card Making Day. I'm going to be posting that shortly. We'll give you some details on that, and hope to see you there in the group. You've also got today and tomorrow, if you still want to get in a project to be eligible to win the September prize for the Scrap Shotz challenge. So the challenge for September is summer memories. So something, any kind of paper project that's inspired by something you did this summer. So it's very open to interpretation. So if you did some gardening and you want to show us a picture of your flower card, we just want to see what you're up to, and if it's inspired by anything you did this summer, then make sure you put it in the album in the Scrap Shotz paper crafting group, and we'll be choosing a winner for that too. Scrap Shotz says we have so many new products come in. Yes, there's lots of inventory going on. You're going to see lots of new things in the shop, and for some reason it's not letting me see that rest of that comment. Let's see. So there's a few things that are not up to date in the shop, but Sandy's getting those done as quickly as possible. Oh yes, you're working on getting them uploaded. So you'll see lots of new things coming in, and yeah, it's just gonna be a fun October, and I feel like once September kind of is here and gone, then we're on our way to Halloween and Christmas. So I hope you guys have a great week. Have a really wonderful weekend. Have fun doing some crafting on World Card Making Day, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending some time with me and being crafty. I will talk to you later. Bye.